Trollord Games. Join the fray.
There we go. Did that work? I assume we are live.
I'm looking kind of frazzled today.
With the hat. Mr. Burns, can you hear me? We're live on Twitch. There you go. See and hear you. Very good. Good deal. How's it going, King Kothar? Johnny Nomad. There's a movie called Nomad Land. I think I'm fixing to watch. I'm always fascinated by people who live on the road, who do that whole thing, kind of, breaking from the norm and heading out. How's it going, Kadora? And there's a movie. It's called Nomad Land. It's got that actress from Fargo, the one who plays the sheriff in Fargo in it. It's pretty good. It'll probably touch on some social issues, but I like the idea behind it. Don't know that I'd want to do it, but I kind of like the idea behind it. How is everybody doing today? I have a lot of thoughts about David's rank, but I'm learning to roll with it. Yeah, people love it as is, so we don't want to change a whole bunch of that stuff. And I'm sure you got my notes on where we're going with that material. How's it going, Fidget Doctor? Fidget Doctor? Not sure what that name is. Hey, Lord Gazuma. Oh, that was a blast. Thanks for having me over there. That was a lot of fun. And it sounds like the charity rise was fajita. There you go. Is that fajita? We have it spelled. Oh, fajita Doctor. Got it. All right, I'm with you. It sounds like you guys had a really successful fundraising, too, so that's very cool. That's always a very, very good thing. I say this very good. Raised 10,000. Holy Carolina, I thought you'd only raised 3. That's even better. Jiminy Christmas. That is really freaking cool. Very, very, very cool. Fajita light steak. Man, I could go for a steak or a fajita right now, to be honest with you. It's late in the afternoon. Chuck can't count. Yeah, well, that's for sure. We won't count on Chuck for the mathematics, but that's very cool. That is absolutely amazing. It's nice to see the community continuing to do such great work all over the place, and you're leading in charge on that organization. Very, 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 very cool. Doesn't get better. Why do you sound like you're in a tube of aluminum charged with static electricity? I'm getting a little static on me, and does anyone else? Okay, so at least 2 tons of static. I don't know that I'm doing anything different. What do we got here? You know what? Let me check something. Did that help at all? Did that adjust anything? Aluminum wrap around your torso. I might know it did not help anything. Alright, let's go into set. I wonder. I'm going to pause. We got equipment running out of here. Let me pause that. Did that help at all? Restart. My IT department always says yes. Well, I'll notice that new mic. It shouldn't be. I did have to adjust it earlier. I moved it somewhat because it was precariously balanced, but I didn't mess with anything. I don't think. No, it did not help. Let's see. That's mic volume. Blah blah blah. Let's go into settings. Let's see, audio. Let's get the microphones. Did that help at all? Well, let me apply, hit OK. Do I still have a mic? Did that help? This is the aluminum can. Dr. Pepper product. Alright, somehow it had switched. It switched mics. I don't know. It switched back to my old mic. I have no idea. I'm sure I did something somewhere, somehow. I'm quite certain I'm to blame for it, but it has switched back. Well, there you have it. I gotta roll my sleeve back. Okay. Alright, good deal. Well, we are here for Ask Me Anything. It is February 23rd, 2021. I'm honestly shocked. Hey, if you saw the hacksaw I took to my microphone stand a little while ago, you wouldn't be as shocked. So sometimes it's necessary to use old tools to fix new ones. Trolls versus technology. Yeah, it's a losing battle for me. So how's it going, Mr. Obadiah? Very cool. Yep. So we're here for Ask Me Anything. Anything you want to talk about? TLG, industry news, Kickstarters we're doing, all kinds of stuff. Fire your questions over. I'll do my best to answer it. If it ain't broke, use a hacksaw. Absolutely right, Commander Pete. Hacksaw can cure almost anything. I have 2 of them with extra blades because I'm always chopping stuff up. I even like to disintegrate, like my old office chair. I took a hacksaw to it, cut it into small little 4-inch and 5-inch pieces, threw it in a dumpster. Well, since we're talking tech, what's the plan for virtual tabletop support for TLG? So, now this, I get a little bit out of my comfort zone. Is that the right one? Of my expertise or whatever. Tim and Chuck are heading up the VTT stuff. I can tell you this, on Fantasy Grounds, we're doing an overhaul of the rules. The player's handbook that goes into the Fantasy Ground rules set to make it more compatible with what's going on and a lot more user-friendly. The guy we hired to do that is already deep into it. So he's made huge strides on that. The plan is to have it done by May 1st, and we're already fast approaching that date. So hopefully that's done. And then there'll be a whole build-up. We'll figure out how to get people that have already kind of dove into the Fantasy Grounds, get them the files. And right after that, once that rule set is done, we're able to dive into individual modules, monster books, and all this other stuff to get it up there faster. And it's going to be the same guy doing it. So we're really looking forward to that, really picking up steam once the rule set is done. And like I said, by May 1. So that's in column 1. Shard, we've turned over a mountain of material to Shard. We got a mountain more material to turn over. They're handling that stuff in-house. I know that Chuck's been working really hard with getting all the maps up to date. And then the Foundry, I'm not sure where we are on the Foundry. That one enters a gray zone for me, so I'm not sure how far or if any at all ground is made on that. And then Roll20, I believe's got something going on that I'm not even in the loop on. So, and I kind of, Chuck and Tim are kind of managing this stuff, and they only bring me in when they need, certain files, or we need to know that this is the direction, or that is the direction, or we want to put this out first, or what have you. That's kind of their bailiwick. I keep my eyes on the printing and the whatever else I do around here. So good news on all fronts. And one of the things that we have begun to do is, as we go forward, making adventures, and this will ease things tremendously. But one of the biggest problems we have is the maps there's, 6 different styles that we have used over the past 2 decades. Some have been updated, some have not. Some have been updated to styles 3 and not style 5 or whatever the hell it is. So the maps are kind of an issue, and we've been working pretty hard on that, and I think we sort of have a workflow laid out for just bringing everything up to speed. And once that happens, it'll be able to go into these VTT platforms much easier and be far more usable. I think they're in the C series right now, working the C series. I believe that's what's happening. I've got any plans with the Reddit. It's a little lacking, which is a shame because that's a huge resource for community engagement and outreach. Would you consider handing it off to someone who knows Reddit to customize it and get it up to snuff in terms of engagement and content? I've done the one Q&A on Reddit, and again, that's kind of in Tim and Chuck's bailiwick, and it becomes one of those things. There's so many platforms that we're developing, not least of which is Twitch and Patreon right now. But I'd love to. The Reddit community, I know, is extraordinarily energetic. Let's let's put it that way. They've been doing a lot lately in a variety of areas. So yeah, I mean, we'd be more than happy to talk to I'm assuming that you're interested. And that's it. It's like 15 posts all the time. Let's see, my point is there is. It has like 15 posts all. Yeah, we need to get over there and kind of brush that up for certainty. Let's see. Off the top, I would like to thank Steve or Chuck, as well as the players last Friday's online session. Had a great time and look forward to doing it again in person someday. Yeah, that was a blast, Willie. That was a really cool game. I really enjoyed it. Chuck managed that. Lord Gazumba had us in, so that was very cool. I had a lot of fun. Hey, how'd you figure? Yeah, there you go. Yeah, reach out to Tim. Let him know. It's one of those, like I said, there are so many heads to this snake that it's hard now. It used to be just a few social media. It used to be just message boards or whatever, but all of that's long gone. And Davis and I are still trying to get the TikTok page up. He's got a fantastic idea for TikTok, but we ran into some issues with that we got to work through. And it becomes one of those things that we got to figure out how to allocate, time and labor to any one of these instances, and how much time and labor we're willing to allocate to it versus the return that it's going to give us for exposure and ways to communicate and all that other stuff. So it's just this giant ball, and really what we need is one of those absolutely insane spreadsheets that you can go zip talk. I'm going to show you a picture. This is what it frequently feels like around here. I can't remember this artist, George Findlay. This is my favorite piece of art. My dad had this on his wall when he was in the Army. So you can see this young fella here working around, and it's got you can't read it here. You can look it online. It's George Findlay is the name. This stuff is absolutely hysterical. Just the amount of things that are required that need to be done, and Reddit falls right into that. Right into that. I've been dipping my toes into Foundry, nice platform, very nice development platform, at least much more open than some others. Yeah, the Foundry is where I kind of lose my. I'm not sure where we are. Most of the conversation right now is Fantasy Grounds. We want to get that up and running, and then of course the Shard, because we're so intimately involved with that side of things. That company, Hal's a great guy. It's just really good stuff. Maybe showing my age, but I just don't get the attraction of Reddit. Yeah, I think it's really, I don't think it's an age thing. I really don't. I think that all of us become comfortable with certain platforms. Davis absolutely loves TikTok. Jason Vay absolutely despises TikTok. I don't like Facebook terribly much, but I love the Twitch. And what is the other one that I like? The Discord. I finally got into Discord. I'm really enjoying Discord. So I think it really becomes whatever you prefer, however you want to do things, communicate with other people. So I don't think it's an age thing. It's just a thing. It's nothing different. Nothing's changed. When I was back in the 80s, when I was in college, you could subscribe to newspapers. You could watch the nightly news. You could watch CNN that had just come out, or you could read newspapers, and there was hundreds of newspapers, and you had to choose which newspapers you wanted to get information from and how you wanted to communicate. It's all the same thing. It's just a little faster now. It's just more graphics or something. And I don't even know if there's more graphics because, the U.S. News and World Report and the Newsweek and Time Magazine and The Economist. There's all kinds of crap out there. Nothing's changed. Do people interact at all on community platforms, Discord, Reddit, etc.? If so, where do they find time, or am I just old? I try to get into Discord every day. I don't really do it as often as I'd like, but it's kind of a cool place. Just sit and talk, and ask questions and whatnot. But it's the same thing that the old message boards did and Facebook has done for the longest time. It's just a place for people to jibber jabber. In my opinion, Twitch, Reddit, Discord are the golden three for the modern age of potential consumers, RPG players. Yeah, it's funny. I think Twitch definitely is part of that. Reddit, I can't speak to. I don't have much experience on Reddit. Discord definitely is where gamers are flocking in droves. Reddit has a whole reputation, I think, that it's got to kind of work through. And it seems to be a little bit more of a free fire zone as opposed to Discord. Discord, there seems to be a little more control, but Reddit seems to be a free fire zone. Like if you take my youngest son, my collar's all. you take my youngest son, he absolutely loves Reddit. He goes in there just to start arguments with people. And it's kind of his thing, and that's great. But it's a forum of sorts. Yeah, it's one of those things. The sad thing is when we lose touch with other platformers. That's Eat to Surf. That's actually the dangerous thing as you shift, especially for a company like Trollord Games, is as we shift focus from one platform to another platform, you seriously run the risk of losing people that are very comfortable at Facebook or Twitter or wherever it is. So it's a tough thing to figure out which direction you're going to go and which direction you're not going to go. Plus one to Reddit, a great forum for topic-specific updates. We did a Q&A over there a few months ago. It was actually absolutely fantastic. I loved it. Maybe showing my age, but I just don't get the attraction of TikTok. I kind of enjoy TikTok. It's just watching people doing things. I mean, I don't know. It's like walking down the street, I suppose, in New York or Los Angeles, and you see someone doing a street performing right, and you stop and you watch, and then you wander on. That's all TikTok is. It's just a bigger crowd. It's just a lot more people doing it. I can just about any type of entertainment I enjoy, so long as it's got music to it. I'm usually pretty good. I'm a huge fan of music. We appreciate you guys for hosting an AMA. Also, thanks for you who support Stephen, whose faces aren't visible. Yeah, absolutely, everybody. And hey, speaking of which, we are doing some kind of giveaway today, later in the show. I think it's, I don't know, Tim, what is it? Is it everyone who's here gets it? He told me giveaway later in the show, so just announced that, right? Blah, blah. So everyone who is in will get a free PDF. Everybody who's here in the chat will get a free PDF at some point this afternoon. So hang out and throw your questions at me and dive into the conversation. We'd love to hear from you. You heard of the weird things called the internet. TikTok is just sort of leading the way in different ways to provide content. It's like everything else is new and exciting. That's exactly right. And it's got, I think there's a little bit more freedom of expression over there, I guess. I don't know. It's kind of what I gather. But I really couldn't speak of any authority on that at all. As a Twitcher, I don't keep my Discord, Facebook, Twitter enough to keep my viewers. That's the thing. It's it's trying to figure out which to balance. And we try to kind of carve it up, so that certain members of the company are doing certain things, and that's kind of tough. I must admit, I love the internet with no TV and no library nearby. It's a big help. And Tim, currently living in the middle. Yeah, you're way out in the middle of nowhere. I give or take on the internet. Of course, I've got all my books and all of that stuff, but I love the internet. It's great. On the other hand, it's like anything else. I eat way too many cheeseburgers. And I gotta stop. It's just not good. It's just not healthy. But man, are they good? And I just keep doing it. And that's sort of like the internet. I just say, hey, it's good, but it's probably not as healthy to be on it as much maybe as we are. I don't know. I don't know crap. How's it going, Epi? I hope you're having a good day. Ultra Magnus, how's it going? Hadn't seen you in a while. Hey, Tenil? I can't say that name. Any update on Starship Warden? Figure out how to cram all those pages in the book. Yes. So I have, as it always happens around here, and I don't know why that it always happens this way. It just does. All of this content got finished simultaneously, and it all got dumped on Peter Bradley's desk this time. It wasn't mine, it was Peter's. So he is hammering out the Monsters and Treasures of Arid for 5th printing. I think he's got all the text laid out for it. Everything's come back from the editor, so all the text is laid out. And now he's putting in art, making adjustments. And when he gets bored with that, he shifts over to the Starship Warden. And I know he's halfway through. He's got a new margin art that he's very happy with. And he's condensing things and cleaning out a little bit more of this art. And I'm hoping by week's end, Warden and the MTV and 5th printing are ready to go to the printers. If they are, we'll send them to the backers as a PDF. We'll let everybody know. We're going to sit on it for about 4 or 5 days. So if you find any mistakes, please let us know. Then we're going to the printers. I want these. I want these things done and gone and moved on and in y'all's hands. These are 2 fantastic resources that need to be out there, and it's really. There's lots of reasons for it, not least of which has been an ever-growing number of restocks, which is great. It's wonderful news, but we got to balance, keeping that flow going into the regular channels with making sure that Kickstarter backers who have already put their money into these projects get the projects that they have invested in. So, yeah, I'm hoping by the end of the week that we have some really good news on both of those things. Balance. Absolutely. Reddit does have moderation and it isn't anonymous for scale. The RPG subreddit has 1.3 million followers. The tabletop game design subreddit has 46,000. And the D&D subreddit, 2.3. This is a big, yeah, it's very huge. Like I said, I'd love to get over there more. I really enjoyed your combat descriptions during the game Friday night. It was well managed and exciting. Thank you, Vic Danger. That was a lot of fun. Everybody got into the game, and you know when people do that, it makes it so much easier to do. And just to do all of that. And I don't know, I love the combat side of things. Get a little bit of gristle and bone in there. Makes it a little bit more fun. But thank you. That's very, very nice of you to say. I've been offline with the snow apocalypse. Oh, that's right. You're down in Texas. I forgot. You guys got absolutely hammered. Yeah, we got hammered, but not, I think your infrastructure just got overwhelmed. That happens. It's nobody's fault. It just happens. Shit gets out of control sometimes. I know this because I work for a small publishing company and shit just gets out of control sometimes. It's just the way it is. I do want that ship launched. I want the Starship Warden launched. Yes, actually, and I'm very excited about it. It's a very cool project. Let's see, can you or have you do a DM's tricks of the trade on how to balance an encounter, dungeon, etc.? You know, I'm not sure that I have, but I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do right now. Check on that. But I'm going to open up. I'm always looking for subjects. And I'm going to add that right now. Actually, I had to do that. I ran an encounter this past weekend, and I overbalanced. Is that the right word? It was too tough. Let's see. I'm going to put that at the top of the list. Yeah, that'd be great. That's a fantastic. And really, on those GM Tricks Trade, if you guys have anything like that, throw it my way. I'd love to. Just to let you know what I do with such and such subject, and then we can chop it apart here on Twitch. So thanks for that, Seal Grimper. But I'll check. I'm not sure if I did that or not. Those wyverns were nasty. They were pretty wicked. I was thinking they were 4 hit dice, but they were 7, so I had to kind of ratchet down the hit points a little bit. Any chance we'll see a sample of the new RPHB CKG layout soon? Vindici, I would have said yes. However, because I dumped all of that mess on Peter Bradley last week, we're going to get through these 2 things, and then we're going to dive right into the Player's Handbook, which I'm hoping is by Monday. He turned over the Adventure Spellbook to me. Now it still needs a lot of work. It needs the rune spells put in it, and it needs the charts with all the tables. The tables with all the spells and the page numbers and stuff in it, but the Adventure Spellbook is almost done. So we made some progress, but it had to stop while we wrapped these 2 things up. So hopefully next week we'll be able to give you something. I lost power from Sunday to Saturday. Glad things are back to normal. Yeah, that's just. I think the longest I've been without power is 11 days, and it's aggravating. Maybe it's 9 days, whatever it was. It gets aggravating, very aggravating. Yes, that female dwarf was fun. All folks who play dwarves should have to wear fake beards. There you go. Balances for nerds. One key thing about Reddit is that you need to actively engage with the community. You can't just post product links, etc., or you'll get booted out of a subreddit. Interesting. Yeah, see, that would be a problem with me because I'll get into any kind of community, as those of you know, on Discord or the boards. But frequently, I just can't I just don't have time. There's too many other things going on around here, and I don't have time to wander into it. For similitude, how do you say that word? It was one hell of an adventure, and not the good kind. Yeah, no kidding. I will say this, my cousins down in East Arkansas, they got hit as bad as we did. We had about 13 inches, and they had at least that. And they built a snowman that's 25 feet tall, I think is what it was. Absolutely. They had tractors out and putting the head on top of the snowman. It's really cool. Very, very cool. Monks. No monks. But, yeah, very cool. So, I want to throw out real quick, for those of you who are new to the stream, one, we've got a giveaway coming later, but also, Trollord Games, of course, is an RPG publisher. We've been doing this for 20 years. Our primary product is Castles and Crusades, and then we support 5th edition, and then we've got other games like Amazing Adventures and blah, blah, blah. But we also have a Patreon account that is tied to our World Anvil account, but it's not the only thing that you get over there at Patreon. We do weekly releases for new, one-shots, little encounters, sneak peeks. There's just all kinds of stuff that's over there. GM's Tricks of the Trade is over there. All kinds of stuff over on Patreon. So if you're interested in weekly updates and new content for your game and table, definitely give the whole thing a check out. Check the whole thing out. Give it a check out. That doesn't make any sense. But just check it out. It's pretty cool. Tim will put up the link here in a minute. It's a lot of fun. We find that, I can't remember who said it, was either Chuck or Tim, when we're writing a lot of these adventures and stuff, there's just stuff that gets cut, and it never makes it to the final print, and we don't know what to do with it. It's like an encounter in a town, or a bandit hole, or whatever it is, and there it sits for time immemorial. Well, Patreon has actually given us this great way to get this out there, because we can put these things together, clean them up, put them together, and just release them as these little one-shots that you can take, throw in your game, and do whatever you want with them. And then it gives us a great place. We've never really had a good place to post things like art from upcoming projects, or even upcoming projects, or ad copy or whatever it is. So check it out. There's all kinds of stuff over at Patreon. There's the link there. We can get you hooked up. How's it going, Clever? Hey, I don't have it with me, but I finished Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King. I finally got through the appendixes, which I absolutely love those appendixes. And I started reading, now I can't remember the title of it, but it's a history of the Comanche people. And it's beginning from kind of their social, whether their migratory beginnings up in the Great Basin and down into the Texas. And it's one of my favorite terrain names in the world, and it's in Texas, the Staked Plains. Absolutely love that, because the Comanche conquer or absorb, or however you want to put it, the Staked Plains and all the countries around it. And I absolutely love that name. The Staked Plains is just cool. Hi, Stephen. It's Pat from the UK. We chatted earlier. Hey, Pat, how's it going? Hope I got you hooked up. I know you were a little concerned about Memorial Tomb, but your name popped right up. The Llano Estacado. Is that the Staked Plains? Is that what that means in English? It's just badass. It's a badass name. I don't really know why they call it that. It's just cool. But I want to go see it. And the Comanche, man, they were something else. There you go. The Comanche were something else. Unconquerable for quite a while. I think I have driven through it. I've been through Texas about, 6 or 7 times. I used to go to Dallas a bit, but I've been through to Texas, to New Mexico, and California a number of times. And I went to Tatum, New Mexico, which is down there on the southeast border of New Mexico and the southwest border of Texas. So I'm not sure if I went through the Staked Plains or not. But maybe. I don't know. It's a beautiful country. Look at a topo map of Texas and it will become obvious. All right, I'll do that. I'll track that down. I love topo maps. Absolutely love them. I love maps. I'm a huge map fan. But actually, it's actually, I'll say this, King. I've been all over western Oklahoma and Texas, through western Oklahoma and Texas. It's insanely beautiful country. It's flat. It's very different than what I'm used to here on the edge of the Ozark Plateau. But I kind of like the flat. It's kind of cool. Open spaces, the sky, the blue sky and the sun. It's very cool. I love it out there. Absolutely love it out there. None of my family do, so I'm not going there anytime soon. But but if I ever get a chance, it's beautiful. You should make your way out there. Absolutely love it. Plus, it's got a cool name, Staked Plains. You can't beat it. Absolutely can't beat it. I want to move somewhere that's got bloody trees. Arkansas is on my list. Oh, we got trees. We got trees. There's so many trees. The whole state. I think there's more trees now than there was back in the prehistoric days. There's trees everywhere. I love Arkansas. Absolutely love it living here. But we definitely have some trees. A friend of mine lives on a lake here in the state, and he'll always send me things. The moon is in such and such stage? No, whatever the moon does. And you could go check it out. I'm in a forest. I can't check anything out. I need a 60-foot observatory. I got oak trees all over the place. So there you go. So I'm not going to see anything. There's a very brief window out front that I can see the moon. But it's all what you get used to. Stars at night are big and bright. Yeah, I love that. My brother Davis, he lives up in the Ozarks, and they've got their place is cleared. Man, you can lay out and see stars forever. No towns anywhere, no light anywhere. It's wonderful. In fact, there are more trees in the U.S. now than there was in the Pilgrims landed. It's one of the things, Lord Gazuma. It's funny you should say that. I was reading not too long ago, back in 1910 or something like that. We started this, maybe it was a little later.
we started this massive reforestation program here in the United States, and it literally, you know, my family, a bunch of loggers down in southern Arkansas. That's where a lot of them come from, and they plant as many trees as they cut. I mean, it's very interesting. There's so many trees in the United States now. It's pretty cool. Now, old growth, you can make an argument, but old growth get there eventually. When was the last time you played the 𝚃𝚘𝚕𝚔 system? I don't think I ever played the 𝚃𝚘𝚕𝚔 system, that second edition, and I think I never did that second edition myself. I think I sat in on one when I was in the Army and then started my own game with AD&D, so I don't think I ever played 𝚃𝚘𝚕𝚔. I still don't really get it. To hit armor class 0, right? Something like that. I like the old negative stuff. Climb up on that tin roof. Yeah, I'd slide right off that tin roof, Tim. And it's a long fall. I would have to put 4 clap emotes here, but can't find them. There you go. Hey, everyone, just blah, blah, blah. Deep in the heart of Texas, absolutely. Texas is a great state. Do you make your own maps for your personal games? Do you have a software preference? I don't. I'll draw a map, and it's horrible, and it makes no sense whatsoever. Davis uses some software, but I don't know what, and he's kind of taken that over. He purchased, TLG purchased for him some software for commercial use, and he uses that to do the maps. Excuse me, that you're actually seeing pop up on the Patreon stuff. So he's kind of teaching himself how to do all of that and diving into it. But for myself, I'll make some, scratch crap out, but for the most part, I play the World of Air, so I use that map right there, and I've got various incarnations of it. Long ago, we took the big map you see on the wall behind me, and we divided it into 9 or 12. It was 9. Oh, Mo, do you remember that? I think it was 9. It was 9 big 12 by 18 maps, so that you could pull out whatever map you needed for when you were playing in Ursel. It was kind of a difficult project to manage, so we discontinued it. But yeah, that's kind of how I do maps. Do you know that? I just kind of trailed off on that one. That's how I do maps. I don't know why I trailed off on that. It was kind of weird. Do you know there are more trees on Earth than there are stars in our galaxy? Is that true? That can't be true. Really? I can't conceive of billions. I can barely conceive of dozens. So I'll take your word for it, Commander P. I need a new roof. Maybe we can talk to him. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that 10 is slippery. I don't know, the 𝚃𝚘𝚕𝚔, the heat to hit armor class 0. Why don't you just tell the DM what you rolled, and he'll tell you if you missed or you hit. Someone actually corrected me. 𝚃𝚘𝚕𝚔 was in the back of the AD&D DMG, but I never used it myself. AD&D just tables. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, I just used the tables. And my math skills are not tremendous. I ran AD&D from the point that it came out to the point Castles and Crusades came out, 2005 or whatever that was. And I never memorized those attack tables. Never. I still couldn't tell you what they are. I talked to Chris today from Axe and Shield, and he was asking when we might do more detailed maps of other parts of Eric. So, that's one of the things that I'd actually like to do. I would like to get out of the lands of Ursel. So for those of you who don't know, this is the lands of Ursel, and it's about maybe 2,000 miles. I can't remember what it is. But the whole world is 24,000 miles around. So there's just gigantic amounts of material that goes beyond the part that we've written up and created for publication in the Codex of Air and all that mess. And we've explored a little bit of it. I've written some of it, like some of the terrain that, the Marl. There's that mountain range called the Marl. I've written up a little bit about that, but not a lot. And I don't know why. Part of me wants to leave that for other gamers. Just go and explore it and make your own stuff. Part of that I know kind of in my head what's there, but it's not really detailed enough for me to kind of... I really have to dive into it. So one of these days, maybe, I would kind of like to expand some of the human civilizations that are there so that people can use... One of the things I did when I designed Arid is I tried to make it so that if you liked Roman stuff, you could play a Roman-esque character. If you liked medieval stuff, you could do the same. If you liked Spartans or Athenians or whatever, that you could do the same. Now, I did not get out of Europe. to do that. I didn't go into like Japan or Korea or the Mayans or the Inca or any of that stuff. I just kind of let that, it's hinted at that those civilizations sort of like those are there for you to develop if you want, but I'd kind of like to develop them a little bit. It would be kind of cool. That go of 20, so you roll a 19 to hit AC1, 18 to hit AC2. The weird thing is that AC went from AVQ0 to AZ. My brain just went, that AVQ0 to, just, all I need to know, what is that movie? Just tell me what to point at and shoot. I don't know what movie I'm thinking of. That's all I need. Just, I'm going to roll a dice, I'm going to tell a DM, did I hit? And they say no. I don't know. That's exhausting. That's exhausting, Gunner. It's exhausting. Were you in the artillery in the army? Those guys always had coordinates and stuff that they were going on about. Probably kind of important for their job. What suggestions do you have for having the gods of Erd interacting directly with the PCs in a session? So, not much. If it's a Valor Raccoon, not very much. If it's one of the, I shouldn't say that. If it's one of the named Valor Raccoon, hardly at all, because those gods are so powerful that they don't hardly even notice. It would be like you noticing an ant, crawling across the floor. And I don't mean that to be kind of weird, but the gods have their own thing that they're doing, and they're not constrained by some kind of, end game. They don't know that there's an end game. They don't know what's happening. Some think they do. But some of the gods are not that powerful, and certainly will interact. And I frequently do things like if players make prayers to gods, I'll give them bonuses on their checks. It's just simple as that. If they curse the gods or whatever, the opposite can happen. But usually I wait till about 7th, 8th, and 9th level for there to be more interactions with the gods than just that. I want the gods to be really outside of the realm of interacting. However, they are real palpable creatures that dwell within the world, and some of them have extraordinary powers. Some don't, but some have extraordinary powers. So I don't ever, discourage it. I just deal with it differently at low levels. It's almost, the impact is negligible, other than in those dice rolls, which can be absolutely monstrous. And I use this example all the time. If your character's swimming a river, pray to 𝚃𝚘𝚕𝚔, dive in the water, go, I'll give you a +1. Something like that. There's any number of things like that and that I'll do. But usually I reserve until about 7th, 8th, 9th level. And then when they're about 15th or 16th level, the gods are considering these, assuming that character is somebody doing something for the gods, they'll start taking notice and seeing that person as someone who, is a real benefit or hindrance to the religion itself, to the god itself. Hey folks, thank blah blah blah. Can you talk about the lore of Erdian trolls, generally speaking? It's funny. The trolls, for me, I'm a huge fan of the original conception of trolls in the Hobbit cartoon. I absolutely love that. And I know that when I began writing the trolls for Erd, that was always kind of an echo. I never liked, and I know this is horrible to say, but I never liked the picture, the rendition of the troll in AD&D. I just didn't like it. The miniature looked badass, actually. I've got that around here somewhere. The miniature was really cool. But I didn't like how it was kind of portrayed. And I wanted to go in a different direction. So the mythology behind the trolls, when I tried to fit them into the world and make it work, I tied them to trees. And there's probably a heavy Tolkien influence in there. I just finished rereading The Two Towers and the whole Ent thing, and there's a hint that trolls were made to mimic, the Ents or what have you, but it's really only kind of touched on. So anyways, when the All-Father begins to create life, the first life that he creates are trees. Now these trees are actually lifeless in the beginning, and it takes Mordias to come in and they're not lifeless, but they have no foliage or anything like that. She comes in and kind of changes things for him. I think all of these come from the Great Tree. And when these trees they're just kind of moving slowly across the land, well, the All-Father comes and sits and he talks to them. He sees no difference between a tree and, a dwarf or whatever. So he talks to them, and he speaks to them of the language of creation and these trees. These are called sentients. He wakens the trees up. They are absorbed with the language of creation, and some of them begin to break from the norm. The main troll that does this is called 𝚃𝚘𝚕𝚔. He doesn't like the crowd of trees that he's with. He doesn't like the company that he's keeping. So he takes the knowledge that the Allfather has given him, reshapes himself sort of in the form of the Allfather with 2 legs and 2 hands, 2 arms, and then he leaves. And he goes off by himself, and he settles in this area, and he begins to kind of covet that area. The water is his, the soil is his. Well, when trees eventually arrive to where he is, he turns on them, destroys a few, then he's driven out, and he begins to wander. And the more he begins to wander, the deeper into the world he gets. He ends up enslaving some dwarves at one point and forcing them to make him armor and all kinds of other things, and this giant horn, and there's all kinds of stuff, and that goes about. And then, so that actually starts the enmity between the trolls and the dwarves because of that servitude that he forced upon some of their kin. And after that, other sentients begin doing this and spreading through the world. They follow 𝚃𝚘𝚕𝚔's lead. They see what he was able to do. They break from the pack. So now you have trolls. Now, and from that come lesser trolls. The lesser trolls come from these sentient greater trolls, which are actually called troll lords. And that actually was invented before the company was invented. The idea was invented before the company was invented. But trolls actually now, a normal troll comes from a tree that drops, a nut or whatever it is, a seed into the ground, and it's corrupted, and it's evil, and it's twisted, and it's essentially dead. Well, it lays there, hatches, sprouts, becomes a troll, and then once it's fully formed, it rises up and wanders off, usually killing the tree that gave it birth. So trolls have a pretty intricate story to tell in the world of Erd. I've tied it to Castles and Crusades very, very recently, and I've got Zoe drawing me up a picture of a troll even now. So we'll see that very, very soon. Trolls are I absolutely love trolls. I think I wrote it up. The whole saga of 𝚃𝚘𝚕𝚔 is written up in one of the fiction books I wrote, Castle of Spires. It's a story that is told in Castle of Spires, I believe. Front towards enemy. There you go. Where did they say to aim? Some bunch of numbers and some math crap. Just point it that way and fire. Yeah, what is that from? That's from something. I can't remember what that's from. Artillery brings a sense of dignity to what would otherwise be a common brawl. What non-core CNC options do you use at the table? E.g. advantages, animal companions, adventurers, backpack classes. We use definitely the classes from the adventurers backpack. I don't use any advantages. I allow animal companions if people want to do them. I don't have any particular thing against that. But probably the biggest non-core stuff is Player's Guide to Erd classes and the Adventurer's Backpack classes. Now, the advantages I'm not so keen on. I think I would rather players focus on their attributes and using the siege engine to overcome problems as opposed to having extra skills and abilities to allow them to overcome problems, if that makes sense. So I kind of shy away from that stuff. Back in my day, I've been saying that a lot lately, I designed my own character sheets for my players that had 4 separate THAC0 sets on it from melee weapons, specialized weapons, missile weapons, specialized missile weapons. Made it a lot easier for them to understand the system. I'll bet it did. Yeah, if it's written down, I can do it. If you just tell me that, I can do it. THAC0 made it so that even though the players had all the info they needed to know if they hit, they were still too damn confused to know. So there you go. Sentience. Yeah, there you go. Okay. So the gods don't appear in the flesh or act through an avatar. It sounds like their presence is a little more subtle, as demonstrated by a bonus to a check gained through prayer. Yeah, absolutely, Rhino. And it gets more confusing when you get into the mythology of Erd. There's the Valaracoon, which run from Fae to these greater gods. But of the Valaracoon, there's 11, I think now. I can't remember. There's 11 named Valaracoon, and these are insanely powerful. These are beyond powerful. Corthane is one of them, and Corthane is the justice maker. He's a god of judgment. He's lawful and good, and it doesn't play well for many even good people. It doesn't play well because Corthane is very stringent, and if you read the Andanuth in the Codex of Erd, Corthane kind of comes out like an ass. But he because he had not spent his powers, he was able at one point to bring peace amongst the gods by passing what's called the Judgment of 𝚃𝚘𝚕𝚕, and that actually stopped a lot of the Valor Raccoon from directly interacting with humans. The Valor Raccoon would come in the earlier ages of the world and muck things up, eventually just terribly because they're so powerful. So he put an end to that. Orundul fought him to that regard, and Orundul was destroyed or kind of cast out. So you've got that range of things where the Valor Raccoon, they could actually rise against 𝚃𝚘𝚕𝚕 and defeat him probably, but they don't, out of respect for 𝚃𝚘𝚕𝚕, except a few who he's had to step in and fight. But then you get into, there's all kinds of other mythologies that go into that. Unclar used the Wall of Worlds to blind 𝚃𝚃𝚕𝚕. Orundul used the Cloak of Red to blind 𝚃𝚃𝚕𝚕. There's all kinds of stuff. Now, after the Valor Raccoon, you get into the Val Austerlich, which are gods, kind of lesser gods, if you will, that were created by the Valor Raccoon so that they could get around the judgment of 𝚃𝚃𝚕𝚕. And these gods will interact a little bit more than the other gods will, because their purpose, their creation was because the Valor Raccoon couldn't interact. So they're going to be the ones that kind of step in a little bit. Now, all of that said, my favorite god is Narhite. He's the god of chaos and evil, but he's more chaos than evil. Everything he does turns evil. Almost everything he does turns evil, but he's not malicious in that regard. I love and that god, he doesn't care about the judgment. He doesn't care about anything. He's always mucking around. He's always jumping around, mucking around in stuff. So if things go really well for you at my table, there's a small chance Narhite is mucking with you. So let's see, I did a Monster Talk episode on the D&D troll through the editions. It definitely could be a much better troll. I'm very happy with, I did a huge write-up on the troll last week per Chuck's request, because we don't really have good pictures of trolls, which is ironic since this is Troll Lord Games. So I did a nice write-up to it. I sent it to Davis for approval, and Davis gave the thumbs up. That'll be coming out soon, especially with Zoe's new art. It'll definitely be put into the Patreon account. All the Patreon backers will get it for certain, and then it'll appear in probably Monsters and Treasures of Ered when we redo that for Castles and Crusades, which isn't too far down. Link to Castle of Spires. Tim, did you find that? I really like the concept of advantages, but never played with the CK who used them. Yeah, I haven't used them either. Sounds like Erd trolls have a relationship with the Erd gnomes, given that the gnomes have that wood look. Yes, the wooden-faced people. I'm working really hard, actually, to bring gnomes kind of to break the horrible stereotype perpetuated by Davis with the gnomes, and the wooden-faced people is what you're referencing to. Let's see. So, link to the Castle of Spires. Let's see if I can find that. Tim, can you find that if you're still out there? Are we doing the giveaway? Is that the giveaway? Yes. Oh, holy crap. It's almost 5 o'clock. Good Lord, this was the fastest AMA I've ever done. Good heavens. There'll always be lawn ornaments to me. Push beyond your preconceptions. Let me see if I can get Castle of Spires here. Wow, this one went crazy fast. That's nuts. That is nuts. Let me see. So this is going to be the print, but you can get it in digital, of course. Paste. Oh, Tim put it on the front page. There you go. All right, good deal. I'll stop then. There we go. All right, excellent. Yep. Now I'm just completely confused. I'm just completely confused. All right. There you go. All right, yeah, definitely. So everybody enjoy your free PDF. We sure appreciate you coming by today. And I guess, wow, that was insanely fast. I feel like I've been sitting here for 15 minutes. Good heavens. Yeah, so at any rate, I guess, well, that's it. If you have any questions, throw it out. I'll do my best to answer the next minute or so. What's for dinner today? You know, I don't know. We didn't pull anything out, so I'm not sure what we're doing. I think everyone's having leftovers but me, so it sounds like a grilled cheese sandwich is in my near future. Boy, I'd like some takeout. I'm so tired of cleaning the kitchen. In my games, gnomes use little gnome statues to mark their boundaries. Oh man, KFC would be good. You know, I love KFC. I really do. It's just way on the other side of town. They closed all the KFCs but 2, and it's like a 25-minute drive. That sounds exhausting. Just sounds exhausting. Now, cheeseburgers. You just can't go wrong with cheeseburgers. I don't know why I love them. About 10 years ago, I just fell in love with cheeseburgers and ate them all the time. I do another hour then. I might starve to death if I do that. We do have Popeyes here. I'm not a big fan of Popeyes. I had it once. I think, I ate Popeyes when I was in the Army long, long, long ago. It was the only thing they had on base. And I don't think I ever could return. I think I'm going to run a game where players are all knowns. There you go. Yeah, definitely don't miss your PDF. It's snatch it and enjoy. Are you on some Long John Silver's? Yes. Man, I don't even think we have Long John Silver's here. I know there's one in Jonesboro, which is like 2 hours away, but I don't know if we've got one in Little Rock. That's funny. We should do a subathon or something for the channel. That's a good idea. Now, I'm glad you mentioned that, Clever. Tim, I'm going to mess this up completely, but we're going to try to do, is it next week or the following week, a whole bunch of shows. We're going to kind of shut down everything except AMA and GMTT, and we're just going to get on here. We're going to try to get some guests in here. We're just going to do a lot of shows right in a row and do sort of what you're talking about, Clever, kind of a subathon. Try to get a lot of people to recognize the channel and come join the channel. That's why I'll be in here jibber-jabbering a lot. We're going to talk to some folks, try to get some guests in, all kinds of stuff. I don't know if that's next week. I'm waiting for Tim to confirm. Okay, he did. Not next week, but the week after next. So like the 8th, Tim? So like the 8th through the 13th or something like that. Yeah, I think that'll be good. I think we can do that. Maybe over the weekend too. I don't know. We're going to check into it. I'm pretty excited about it. I really want to. I really want folks to know about this. I think it's a good channel, and you guys all joining and coming in, and everybody's opinions and thoughts, and great. It's great. It just, the whole thing is a nice feed. It's very, very cool. So yes, Clever. We will let everybody know. So it'll be the 8th or maybe the 5th. I don't know. I'll talk to Tim. We'll iron it out. Got to get Chuck back. Chuck's got some issues he's taking care of, and we can get him back in. We need a jibber jabber emote. That's exactly what we need. A jibber jabber emote. Not an emote. That's emote. Yes, the 8th to the 13th or so, whatever we can get. Perfect. You're in Jonesboro. That's cool. I'm on the Virginia side of Tennessee. I'm in Little Rock, Arkansas. Jonesboro is, there's a town in Arkansas called Jonesboro, about 2 hours north of me. I have not been to Jonesboro, Tennessee, though I'm pretty sure I remember it. I had a friend who lived down in the western part of Virginia. She was a park ranger. I think, man, it's been too many years. It's been too many years since I've been to Jonesboro. Yeah. I used to teach at ETSU, different Jones. Yeah, very cool. At any rate, yeah, wow, this one went insanely, ridiculously fast. Thank you all for showing up. I sure appreciate it. It's always a lot of fun. I'll be back on Thursday for Jim's Tricks of the Trade. We're doing another kind of just random stuff. It's a Lady Gaga song. I got everything in my head today. No, what is it? That's Key of Awesome. Key of Awesome did a YouTube parody of a Lady Gaga song, Bad Romance. And now that's in my head. My God, check it out. It's really funny. Though the channel's still there, they closed down. The channel's still there. At any rate, that was way tangent. We will see you on Thursday. I thank you all for showing up. I sure appreciate it. It's a lot of fun. And look, again, like Clever's mentioned and Tim said, we've got a big week-a-thon coming up very, very soon. So you all have a great evening and a great week, and we will see you in a couple days. And that's all I got. All right. We'll see y'all later. I gotta go find some grub, but I don't know what it is.